Yeah, this is the ICOM 730 transceiver here. Working around 6:30 in the morning on 40 meters on lower sideband. I'll zoom in here. Yeah, this radio here is a older radio, solid state. Picks up 7.5 megahertz, 80 meter band, 40 meter band, 30 meter band, 20. You got the 18 megahertz band, 15 meters, which is 21 megahertz. You got 24.5, one of the WARC bands, 28, 28.5, 29, 29.5. You manually adjust this for lower sideband and upper sideband here, unlike my older 735 I used to have. But this is a fairly solid rig in the sense that it's easy to operate. Turn it on here. This is the RF gain. You can adjust the buttons here to turn it 10 hertz, 100 hertz, or 1 kilohertz. So I normally put this on 10 kilohertz or 100 kilohertz to find things pretty quick. And if you find somebody and you want to super tune it in, you can put it on 10 hertz. It's got an IF shift here. That's normally kept in the center. Here's the RIT button. You push in to do an offset and a receive. I think these guys are over in Florida or North Carolina. Microphone came with this was an ICOM microphone like this. This is the ALC button. The display on this, if you turn it to upper sideband, will jump around. It's a little bit different than some of my other rigs as far as the display. Let's see if we can pick something up on 10 megahertz for WWV. I think that's WWV there. I'll put this in AM. There's WWV coming in. It's about 6:48 roughly here in the morning in Central Time. So I've got this set on AM. There's WWV.
Universal time.
I'm only using an antenna inside of about 6 feet long, so this is a really fairly sensitive rig. I've got the preamp on. There's the preamp off. Doesn't really make that much difference, it seems like, on the lower bands. It makes a little bit of difference on the higher bands. But what's interesting here in this radio, the display is such that here I'm on AM over here. I'll put this in lower sideband, then it's going to go through and drop by 1.5 kilohertz on the display. If I go to lower sideband, it goes up by 1.5 on the display. CW narrow, it's right on the money as far as the display. And I think this requires a filter on narrow, I'm not sure. And I may not be in this rig. I bought this off eBay for like $140, which is pretty much a steal. It's an excellent radio. Those tones would probably be matched a little bit if that's the side tone. This is the lock button. I like this radio to be used. The one cool feature compared to some of the super modern ones, I can set this up by feel. I can go, turn this all the way over and go 2 clicks up, and find the bands real quick. I can put this straight up and know it's on lower sideband by feel, and I know these buttons on here. So I tend not to, if I'm like in a mobile rig or something, I don't get lost. So now I've got it locked. This runs on 12 volts, of course, with the standard ICOM supply. Right now I'm using this on an ICOM PS55. It'll work on a PS15. You can run it off car batteries, whatever. It's got the standard ICOM connector in the back. I think that's used by Kenwood too. So if you're turning real slow like this, you can put it in 100 hertz. That's what I normally use the most. Just trying to find something. Drop down to 40 meters. Of course, this is not a continuous coverage receiver, so you're not going to be able to pick up hardly any short wave. Sometimes you can put this on 10, put this on AM, and I can pick up a little bit of stations right below 10. Goes down to 9.9 megahertz. You'll find some broadcast stations in this region 100 kilohertz below every now and then. If I go over here on 40 meters, of course, a 40 meter band is on lower side band generally, so put the button straight up. Put this on 1, 2 buttons up. Probably need a better antenna. Now here I just got jazzed up. You may notice this. See this shift moved? That's the kind of failure mode I get into. So put this in the center. It's almost like it needs a detent on here. If you get this off to the side, you can end up getting to where you think you're not picking up anything if you're just doing it by feel. So there's a guy kind of in the mud. This radio is probably off 0.3. Typically when I pick something up and he sounds correct, he's off third of a kilohertz. A lot of my ICOM radios are kind of like that. Some of the Kenwoods are off a little bit. The guy on there, he can be off too. So if he really was on, the net really was on that, if that's what the average of everybody was on, and you want to listen to one guy, you can hit the rip button. And just tune that guy in to listen to him so you're not driving everybody else crazy. So you listen to that guy, if he was off, put the RIT button in, adjust it over. Then when you're done, just lift it up. Now, if everybody's pretty much on that number, your radio's probably off.
So we've got a pretty significant deer population that they're going to get shot at starting this weekend, I believe, at the open.
So I'm just using a radio here from indoors. It's just a little thing thrown around the kitchen. This is a noise blanket. It's normally used in a car. It's not gonna really knock any noise out unless you got some in the neighborhood from a car. It's generally used when you're in a mobile use.
After being rudely interrupted.
That's kind of funny. The guy talks about being rudely interrupted. Sometimes the band swapped around and there's two different conversations and they kind of merge together and everybody gets weirded out because they assume that they were there first. They could have started at the same time, maybe 6 in the morning or 5 or something, and then all of a sudden the band changes and they merge together and they start squabbling. It's kind of funny. Now I'm going to go see if there's anything down here on the 80 meter band. I'm kind of got a useless antenna here for picking that up, but if it's a strong signal, you can probably put it on 1 kilohertz and kind of zip through. I may want to zero this like this. This radio, when you put it on 1, if you had it 0.9 here on this, you hit 1, it's going to jump by 1 kilohertz, but leave the last digit. Some of my other radios, they're always going to jump to the last digit. It's going to be 0 when you're on this mode. It's just the way the software is set up. You got a strong signal, you probably can find them jumping by. There are some broadcast bands out of, I think it's out of Knoxville or Nashville. There's one down in the 40 meter. There's a big strong AM band between 3.7 to 4 megahertz. It's some type of religious storage station or something that broadcasts at night every now and then. There's a guy. Now what's interesting about this is even though I've got an antenna inside of about probably 10 feet long, just a piece of wire, sometimes if you have a giant antenna outside, it may or may not help the signal to noise ratio. It's kind of goofy because you can have so much noise in the lower end of the band that you're just limited by the noise. Really don't have any. This is the, it's got two VFOs on it here, and this has got the A and B, normal and split, and haven't really used that very much. Just fooled around with it. This is a write and a memo. You can save a few positions you're at. Haven't fooled with that very much either. Yeah, he's down in the mud. We'll go back to 40 meters here. And there's a carrier right there. That's either somebody tuning up. That might be a European broadcast station. So it's 7 o'clock here Central Time. September, I think 27th here, Thursday. Yeah, there's a carrier right there. Yeah, it's probably a European broadcast station. So put this on 100 kilohertz to cut. Sound like KA7UA, it's hard to tell. What's amazing is that, remember 20 years ago, that between 7.1 and 7.15 was pretty much, I think it was novice CW. Maybe it still is, but it was considered bad practice not to be having a QSO of voice in there, and now it seems like there's, with CW being less, that people just kind of like use that area a lot more. So if you've got this IF shift bumped over here by mistake, you might go through here and you'll find a real strong guy, but the weak guy you're going to miss. So this is something for mobile use. You almost need to have a little clip or something. I might file a little notch on there or something so I can feel where that is. But I've done that sometimes on mobile where I bump that.
What about, I don't know, 13,000 feet, something like that, square feet. Well, I said, radius on it. That's pretty good. Yeah, no, I know. Well, that's up north too, yeah, that's, but you know, what he's able to do, he's able to get some antennas on that land, isn't he? Sure is. I'm surprised that over the poles is set up. Other towers. I don't think it was a U.S. tower for one-way.
Now these guys sound like they're pretty much, there's 2 or 3 guys there. It sounds like it's.
I don't think they can hold much in the way of antenna, can they?
The radio may only be off 100 kilohertz or hasn't warmed up. This is an all solid state rig. This radio is actually, to me, sounds like it's more sensitive than the ICOM 735. I've had a couple ICOM 735s, and if I go back to back with one here that's on the ground, it seems like this was kind of a surprise. I didn't really think it would be that great because it's a little bit older, and it might actually have a better front end because it's not a general coverage unit. It's got a specific band pass, probably for each band, I guess. Now there is up in here there's a cover here, and it's got, let me see if I can put this up here like this. It's got a marker on there if you have an option. .25 kilohertz, 25K and 100K, and it's got a marker either on and off is an option. This is a calibration, Vox gain, anti-Vox, Vox delay, SWR set. SWR or power, so the meter can either read an SWR or power, and this is a speech processor on and off. So those features are kind of hidden in this little cover on the top up here, and I think in the 735 they took a lot of these features and they put into the slide panel that's behind the clear glass. I haven't really fooled that much with these things, but this pops in up here. Some of the older radios on here, these buttons get kind of scratchy. And this one I've never, it seems like it's very clean inside. You notice there I changed to 10 meters at 10 megahertz, went back to 7. I've lost this guy. So you have to go back and find it. It's kind of one of the quirks. Or I don't know what I'm doing yet on this thing. So to find them quick, I'll put this in here. So if you were listening to this guy on here, you may want to jot the number down. I guess you could write this in here. Nope. I'll be on newbie here. I don't know what I'm doing. Ha! Yeah, I might have the memo button on here. Yeah, I guess I'll have to download the manual. That was, the button was in, so it was VFO-B. That's on A. Let's try this again. Yeah, I don't know what that's about there. Anyways, this is the ICOM 730 eBay deal. This one wasn't a basket case, but it seems like a really good rig. It's not general coverage. Runs on 12 volts. Puts 100 watts out. I think they rated this thing probably 200 watts input, but this type of stuff with memories and things, if I don't use a rig that much, I end up causing more problems until I get used to it. So, you know, this thing of hitting something and having it jump because I don't know what I'm doing here. If you use the rig a lot, things like that are really handy. If you just intermittently use a rig and you jump around between rigs, it can be kind of an irritant. But this is a really cool, simple rig in the sense that the feel, you know, there's lower sideband up. I can click this over on a mobile use, find exactly where I am. Not, I've got to get this to where this is kind of like, have a feel for where that is. But it's pretty goof proof. Anyways, this is kind of playing around here, the ICOM 730, and I'm running a ICOM PS55 supply here. And this is a guy here on 40 meters lower sideband. Got the preamp on. And that's about it. It's a cool radio. They kind of vary.